Well, we want to welcome everybody and so happy you're here with us for the final Israel Solidarity Program of the year. But today is day 191 of the Israel-Hamas war. And as if it were not enough, we watched in horror last night as over 200 drones and missiles headed for Israel from Iran. With other amazement and gratitude, we watched as those missiles were intercepted and shot down by the Israeli missile defense system, as well as those neutralized by the US ships in the area and help from other allies. Knowing the trauma that everyone in Israel faced yesterday and continue to face today, it is with great appreciation that we welcome our special guest today, XXRakefet Hadar. We can only imagine what a stressful time this is for her and everyone in Israel. So XXRakefet, we are immensely grateful that you still wanted to come to speak to us this afternoon, and we thank you. Now we need to take a deep breath and go back to thinking of the evacuees in the south and the north of Israel. Now, I just got a little bit discombobulated here. And we have to think about the important role that XXRakefet has played with her team in helping to deal with the evacuees and their trauma. XXRakefet is a trained art therapist and writer. The most powerful tool that she offers her clients is SoulPages journaling. Throughout the war, XXRakefet has been working with displaced families in the south of Israel, offering them a way to express their feelings of worry, sadness, and fear. And this afternoon, she'll be sharing some of those stories with us. XXRakefet's discovery of art journaling 15 years ago changed her life. She is most interested in finding ways to restore our natural creativity as a source for resiliency and happiness. After graduating with her master's degree, XXRakefet was looking for ways to bring creative practices to adults who were struggling with life as a way to help them activate their inner joy resources and strength. XXRakefet developed her method SoulPages, and she teaches it worldwide. And through her digital, online, and live in-person courses, you can learn more about her and her online classes at her website, which XXRakefet will put in the chat, and I will send to you after the program. Most people think of journaling as expressing and writing down their thoughts in a journal, but visual journaling is about expressing yourself through mixed media art. Words and writing can also be part of that art. The SoulPages method is based on the 7 elements: intention, magical coincidence, background, image, color, line, and text. XXRakefet recently offered a wonderful class called Painting Darkness into Light, which was so inspiring during this very difficult time since October 7th massacre. The class spoke to how our inner hope can fuel our life joyfully and help us to overcome any difficulty. In the last 10 years, XXRakefet trained more than 350 facilitators in her method in Israel and worldwide through her training programs. Facilitators are then able to lead their own classes. XXRakefet published 2 books about her SoulPages visual journaling. They are bestsellers worldwide. Both layers of meaning and color archetypes can be found on Amazon. I have personally been studying with XXRakefet for 2 years, taking many classes online. And now I am proud to say that I am a graduate of our SoulPages Facilitators program. Thanks to XXRakefet, we have a vibrant Facebook community for all of the graduates, and we continue to meet, share, and teach each other. And finally, during the October 7th war, XXRakefet initiated the Bring Back the Light project, through which SoulPages facilitators volunteered in about 30 evacuation centers across Israel and established SoulPages visual journal groups that proved to have significant rehabilitative and therapeutic value. Many groups continue to operate 6 months after the outbreak of the war. XXRakefet will be speaking much more about these centers, and I will include the link to Bring Back the Light project in my email following the program. At the end of XXRakefet's presentation, we will have a Q&A period. Now, please give a very warm welcome to XXRakefet Hadar.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much, Lorelei. It was so beautiful to hear that. And you should all know that if Lorelei, you should ask her to teach you sometime. So let me start by sharing my small presentation. Actually, it's not so small, but let's hope we will have time to go through everything that I planned. So yes, SoulPages in times of crisis. I think that Lorelei already spoke about me, and I don't want to waste time on telling you more. And actually, you can really read in my site about it. I only want to a little bit just to tell you about what is SoulPages, so you know what I'm going to refer to. So SoulPages is a powerful tool that allows people to connect to a place of transformation and healing using various mixed media technique within a personal journal. So it's an art journaling special method that I've been teaching for more than 10 years. And of course, there are the 7 elements, which if you want to learn more, you can read about them. But the main idea is, and I'm going to straight take you into my presentation of October 7th, and I created it almost as a kind of a diary or a journal, because SoulPages is a journaling, and sometimes Google translates it from Hebrew to a visual diary, and I think that's exactly how I use my SoulPages, as a visual diary. So I created this as kind of a diary to you, and I'm going to take you through what happened and how I was able to kind of use the power of art to promote healing. So on October 7th, I was in Mexico. I led the retreat of my international students in Mexico. And I was, my partner in Israel sent someone to wake me up, and she told me, XXRakefet, there was a war started in Israel. And she told me that one of my most beloved students, we didn't know she was murdered then, but she told me she's missing. And like I was almost like in shock to hear this, and still having to teach all through the day. And then I started the journey home. It took me 3 days to go back to Israel. I just want to speak a bit more about Orit. You saw her picture in the first page. So I started the story with Orit because Orit was really, she was a very special student of mine. I think she was from one of the first groups, maybe the second group or the third group maximum. So really from the beginning, she was with me and she went with me to a few art retreats around the world. And what happened to her in Be'eri was, I think, one of the most difficult stories. So she was, and this is her house. They took us to a special, how can you call it? I'm losing my English. They took us to a special visit to Be'eri. And they showed us all the houses where people were actually either dead or murdered or been, hijacked to Gaza. And every house had the faces of the people that were affected. So this is Orit's son, Itai. He was, when they actually opened I didn't think I will be so moved by telling you all this, but when they actually went into their house, they took him with them. They killed Orit and they took him with them. And he was in Gaza almost until the end of December. He was alive. But then in one of the exchanges, when they exchanges homes, he was shot and his body is still there. And I will go back to this story later when I will tell you about this very special community of the Be'eri survivors. So in this day, as you all know, 1,200 people were slaughtered, and these are more, picture that you probably already saw. And this is me just, a few days after October 7th, and I especially started that with this terrible picture because that's how I came back to Israel. I was so shocked of everything. I was alone for 3 days, and I looked at my phone and looked for videos and just to know what's going on. And then I came to Israel, and we came into a war because we had missiles, even in Tel Aviv, we had missiles everywhere. So we were like, we are smiling, but it's not a real smile that we are all in. And so that was like really just the day that I came back. And then on October 12th, 5 days after, I let myself be in shock for 5 days. And then I decided, no, I have to do something, because if I don't do something, I will go mental if I don't do something. So I called up one of my students. She's a kind of an entrepreneur. And we started the Bring Back the Light project. We have in Israel, I think, around 180 SoulPages facilitators, just like Lorelei, but I taught it in Israel for the last 10 years, so I have quite a lot of them there. And I asked them, who is ready to volunteer and go and work with people in hotels? And I think 60 of them or 70 of them said, yes, I want to do it. And, we started this group. This is a very special group. This group is from, we made a video on them because we wanted to finance all the projects. So we had someone that was ready to do a video on us. I don't know if you know Mifal Apais in Israel, but it's they made videos about they call it like the heroes. because in the first few days of the war, so many people did things. Like Israel is really, I think, we are as Israeli, but not only Israeli, as Jewish people, I think we are very good at giving to others. So when the war started, everybody just wanted to do something. It was like, it was almost like a medicine for ourselves to do something. So this group, I started to tell you about this group. They are evacuated from a kibbutz very close to Be'eri, Alumim. They called Alumim. It's like really like the neighbor of Be'eri, but they had like a miracle. I think nobody was hurt there because they had like every kibbutz have like a small group of people that are ready to fight. So in their kibbutz, they were very good at it, and they kind of blocked the terrorists. I think only one of them died, maybe, but they were not like badly hurt like the other kibbutz in the area. Nobody was kidnapped there, and they are also religious ladies. It's a religious kibbutz. So those are my SoulPages facilitators, those two. And one of them, she is from this kibbutz, but she moved to another part of Israel. So she said, I want to do it with them. So she went and she walked with them. And in this place, I think this group was really special because from the beginning, there have been like 15 ladies. They walked together in the lobby of the hotel. And in a way, they just kind of magneted other people to come to work with them. So it was really amazing to see this group. And they are still working today. Tomorrow, they are actually meeting for the last time. After almost 7 months, 6.5 months. And here you can see those two ladies, which are also facilitators, are hugging. And the three of them have been together in one of my trips. So Ruti here, that she is like closing her eyes, she was a survivor from Kfar Aza. It's another kibbutz that was really badly hurt, almost like Be'eri. So that's the first time they meet her, and they are so happy to meet her and to work together. And these are other groups from the project that we open. Like this is a Ma'agan Michael. It's a kibbutz next to where I live. And this is actually in the hotel. You can see that they are walking. You can see I don't know what it is exactly, but it's part of the lobby as well. So what was really special about working in hotels and evacuation centers is that also men came. And it's the first time we saw that men are using art to relax, to heal themselves, to help them talk about, the unspeakable. Because in the first few days, it was really difficult to speak. They didn't want to speak. Anyone that we met was in a way happy just to do this kind of meditative, working with colors, working with images, but they didn't want to talk about anything. This is in the left, you can see from Kfar Maccabiah, we had lots of children there, like really a lot. Lots of children came. And here it's from another group in Haifa. So every week we open more and more groups. We even started to get phone calls from groups that heard about us. For example, they called me from, they wanted to create a special group for the Nova. You know about the Nova party survivors? You know about them. So they wanted to open a special group for the Nova survivors. So they called us to make, and today we are making a few groups, not only for the Nova survivors, but also for the parents and for people that actually lost people from the Nova. So, in Israel, everything is in groups. So if you hear about something, you immediately want to do it for others. So it's kind of spread, this special activities. This is a group in Tiberia. And this is our project, Bring Back the Light. Do you want, can I thought to show you the video that we made about it. Is that okay? אז ביום הרביעי למלחמה, תלמידה שלי מירב אמיתי מצלצלת אליי ואומרת לי, את לא מאמינה, ירדתי לנחשולים והבאתי להם את היומן הוויזואלי, והתגובות מדהימות. הן רק רוצות שאני אחזור שוב ושוב. כבר באותו יום צלצלתי לתלמידה שלי, מירב שקד, שהיא גם יזמית וסופרת, ואמרתי לה, את מצטרפת אליי ונקים מיזם שבעצם נגיע לכל מי שנפגע במלחמה הזאת. והרגשתי שזה ממש שעת כושר לעזור לאנשים שקשה להם כרגע. וזהו, יצאנו לדרך עם מיזם להחזיר את האור. מיד התארגנה קבוצה שתפרה יומנים, ישר התארגנה קבוצה של נשים שגזרו דימויים, כי רצינו להיות מותאמות למצב המשברי שהמפונים נמצאים בהם. גייסנו כספים כדי לאפשר לקנות חומרי יצירה. היומן הוויזואלי זה כלי שבעצם קיים מאוד שנים. אני בעצם גיליתי אותו לפני משהו כמו 10 שנים, בעקבות משבר אישי שעברתי, ותוך כדי הגילוי וההתחלה בעבודה ביומן, בעצם פיתחתי את שיטת דפי נפש, אני כותבת עליה בספר שלי, מסעות ביומן הוויזואלי, ובעצם הרעיון היה שיש 7 אלמנטים מאוד מאוד פשוטים, מאוד קל להעביר את זה הלאה, ובעצם בעזרת האלמנטים האלה אתה יכול לאפשר חיבור למשאבים פנימיים, חיבור לחוסן, תקווה.
הסדנה יש לה תרומה מאוד גדולה למשתתפים, כי בעצם בכל מפגש עוברים איזשהו תהליך קטן, אבל מאוד משמעותי.
היומן נמצא שם כאיזושהי תשתית, כאיזה infrastructure כזה שמחזיק את הדבר הזה.
יש גם איזושהי חוויה של יכולת יצירתית, ומצד שני הם חווים איזושהי נקודת מבט חדשה על איזשהו אירוע בחיים, שביומיום אנחנו לא יושבים ומדברים אותו או מתייחסים אליו, וזו הזדמנות לפתוח עליו איזושהי זכוכית מגדלת.
מה שאצלנו גם מעניין שיש 3 זוגות של אם ובת, אם ובת ואם ובן. זה מסדיר איזו מערכת יחסים חדשה ביניהן. כי הרבה פעמים האימהות מדברות בשביל הבנות, ואז אנחנו מבקשות שהבת תדבר בעצמה, או להפך. אז קורים שם דברים מופלאים.
עד היום הגענו למעשה ל30 מרכזי פינוי.
יש להם יום ושעה קבועה. זה אחד הדברים שאנחנו ממש מקפידות עליהם, שיהיה איזשהו עוגן ויהיה איזושהי יציבות בתוך האי-ודאות שהם חיים בה, שהם יודעים שכל יום רביעי, נגיד ב4, אנחנו מגיעות, אנחנו נהיה שמה, לא משנה מה.
מישהי העידה ואמרה, זה כמו להיות אצל פסיכולוגית, אבל בלי שישאלו אותנו שאלות קשות. זה פשוט קורה לבד.
נוצרה שם ממש קהילייה עובדת, וזה מרגש מאוד.
אנחנו פונות לכל מי שמארגנת תרבות או קשורה לאחת מהקהילות המפונות, ורוצה לארגן סדנה קבועה שלנו עבור אנשיה, פשוט צרי איתנו קשר.
I also want to let people know that all of the work that you're doing with these people is on a volunteer basis, and all of your supplies are coming from donations from people. That's how you're purchasing them.
I can just share with you that just a few weeks ago, Merav, my partner, you saw her in the video, one of her friends, she's the mother of one of the hostages, the young hostages in Gaza, Omer, and she contacted us, and she said, like, we are so desperate here in the, you know, there is like a special place where all the families of the hostages are there in Tel Aviv. So she said, we are so desperate, we don't know what we can do, nothing is happening, so please come to us with SoulPages. And we thought so much, how can we offer healing for these people? Because, like, for me, these people are the one that suffers the most, because they are in a nightmare for like 190 days already. And we did a few meetings with them. Most of the meetings we tried were canceled because they have this thing going on and these things. But when we were able to squeeze in, I didn't do it personally, my partner did it. And she said it was like so strong to work with them. It was like really like to touch the, how can you say, to touch the pain, or, you know, like the pain was so exposed there. The inner pain. But they did find a little bit of, you know, even for 1 hour, they were like able to shut their thoughts off. Okay, now I want to take you back to the real story that I want to tell you today, and that's about the Be'eri survivors. And hopefully I will not forget my English again. So that what we did with the Bring Back the Light project was all around the first, you can say, first 2 months. But I really wanted to go and meet with people from Be'eri because I had a very special connection with them. People from Be'eri and also from Kfar Aza, but more from Be'eri, knew my work, and you will know very soon why. So I aimed all the time to go and work with them. So in December 5th, it was the first time that I met them. And you can see here, that's the kind of altered table in the lobby. You can see behind, you see more people are talking and sitting, and we have no privacy at all when we walk there. And that's, I think, maybe one of the first meetings that, and we created here like haiku kind of activity. And this lady is really special. And I think I especially wanted to start with her, with telling you a little bit about her. Her name is Yochi. And Yochi, from the first minute, was amazing. She came into the room, and she just, you know, she was creating a very good feelings for everyone. And what's written here is like a small haiku that she wrote. Closed in the bomb shelter in this horrible day, this is how we survived. So something I didn't tell you yet is that because I'm a writer, I decided slowly to start and write all these hidden stories that these ladies told me. And I thought to share with you like a small part that I wrote about Yochi. And this will get you into her story in a way. So I don't know if I read everything, but we'll start, okay? So her story calls 100 Lost Souls. So Yochi's smiles when she arrived at the first meeting at the David Hotel was like a breath of fresh air that woke up all the participants sitting at the sides of the table. Did I get to the visual journal? I have heard so much about it, and now I have to try. But I haven't touched colors in 75 years. But you can always start, don't you? Yochi's optimism, smile, good energy allowed us all to breathe for a moment, relax, and feel that there is someone here who cares for us. And that was exactly Yochi's job on the 7th of October. when the bombs and missiles began, she went into the safe room with her husband, daughter, and grandchildren and took control of things. She asked everyone not to be on the phone or read about all the horrors happening outside. In a moment of silence, she took advantage of the opportunity and ran to the kitchen, endangering herself, and brought enough food for her family that lasted for 17 hours they spent in the safe room. In stressful situations, I function super duper, ignoring my surrounding and focusing on doing things that can help. That's how we survive. When Yochi tells her story, tears begin to fall from her eyes. She shares that she can't believe the miracle that happened to her, that she found her real strength at the age of 75. When we got here on the 8th of October, my heart was like a stone. And by the way, Yochi gave me her permission to read this to you. She knows all the women that I'm telling you about gave me their permission. So it was so hard for me during the endless hours in the safe room when I had to take care of everyone and be the strongest. Then we came here with nothing, and there were tables waiting for us with things we would just take. We felt like refugees, but we were glad we were alive. We couldn't digest what had happened. What was most important to me in the first few days was to sit with my friends and hear all the stories. When we got here, 1 minute. I think there was When we got here, the stories began. Here my neighbor was murdered, and there my friend's son was kidnapped. In a neighborhood next to me, 3 generations of family went at once. More and more stories of 100 lost souls. It was so hard to contain everything, but I had to. For days, I sat at lunch every day with someone else, asking to hear his stories, what he went through on the 7th of October. Then there were funerals, more and more funerals of 100 souls, and I had to go to all of them, because it was important for me to accompany them all. They all entered my heart, all the stories. The father was buried with his baby daughter, my girlfriend who lost her home, and more people I knew were gone. And all these stories were hard to bear, weighted on the heart and hardened it. It became like a stone. I felt that I was losing it. And in December, I found SoulPages, and each session helped me break down a little of all these difficulties. Like an onion, each session I was able to clear another layer and open up to my friends. I didn't believe that at my age I would discover that I was an artist, that I had powers, that I could create. Today the work fills every free moment and makes me proud of myself. I show myself to my husband and children. I'm proud of myself and how I behaved on the Black Saturday. I managed to save my family. I was strong and I trusted myself. I hope you were able to catch from her story how much it was meaningful to her to suddenly be able to express herself for the journal. And I'm taking you back to the full group, and I'm going to do it all the time, jump on and off from the group, because I think it's also, in a way, tells the story of how I experience it. I had to take care of the full group, but also I wanted to be for each personal. I didn't have really time to be with each of them personally. But we all the time felt like this is my partner. We felt that we have to listen to all the stories, almost like it's our mission to be able to hear all these stories. And then on December 26th, after I think 3 weeks that we were like outside in the lobby, we finally got our new studio. It's a small studio. And I don't know if any of you was or visited David Hotel in Yam HaMelech, but it's the most fancy hotel there is there. It's so big, and there is like a huge lobby. So the studio is like a small, I don't know how to call it, but it's a small room inside the lobby. We can still hear everything from around it, but at least we have some walls around us. So now, after 3 weeks that we were outside and we had to, navigate and between, wanting to hear all the stories, but also people could not really open themselves when we were out there. When we actually got inside here, then that's when all the stories started to, pour out even more. And what really was amazing that they were so eager to talk, and they were really eager to share everything, and almost like every subject or any idea that we brought to, because we tried to have lessons that are therapeutic, but also concentrating on their inner powers. We wanted to bring them hope. We wanted to remember all the good things that they have. But everything brought, every time that they spoke, as Yochi said, here Yochi is sitting here on the end, she said, every time that I'm, looking at images, I'm finding watches that remind me the hour of 7 o'clock in the morning when I had to go into the safe room. So I told you before about my special connection with Be'eri. And here I want to show you again Orit. You saw her in the beginning, and she was kind of the engine behind me. That why I wanted to work with the Be'eri survivors. And so Orit and Anat, they were like SoulPages facilitators, and they created a group of 7 ladies that work together regularly. 3 of them were murdered in October 7th. Here you can see Orit and Anat in one of the trips. You can see how happy they are looking, how they are enjoying their art. And here we are again in another trip. And this is one of Orit's last creations. Just before she died, she was a person that was creating art almost like daily, and she shared a lot in Facebook. And one of the things that some of the girls in Be'eri told me was that they knew about the visual journal and SoulPages from Orit, because she was publishing in Facebook and telling about her artistic adventures, and she was creating on her own. She was really advanced in creating. She just created for her soul. This is a very beautiful work that Anat did, Orit's friends, just that kind of tells about her hope for the children to be happy after October 7th. Anat is really dealing a lot with the ideas of children. And here you can see it says it's kind of a garden of children. And even yesterday, after the missiles were shot, she wrote me that the children were again afraid, because they told them all the time that it's very safe in the hotel, but suddenly they're having another missiles attack. So like children is the thing that she's thinking a lot about. This is another work, beautiful work by Anat, that talks about the inner child that misses her mother to support her during these atrocities. So we worked a lot with the idea of the inner child and, resources, people that died, and there are still resources for us to help us through these difficult times, because, we all have, the Jewish history is full of having to deal with these terrible events. So we have lots of resources. This is a very beautiful but also difficult work of one of the person. It's a mother, and she lost her daughter and her 2 grandchildren. They all died in October 7th. And here you can see the word hope, tikva. And she was really struggling to keep her hopes. She was like, every day is ups and down. And I would call her every time before the meeting, are you coming? Are you coming? Because really I almost felt like I have to keep her alive. This is a very beautiful work by Aliza. And Aliza spoke about the hope of starting all over again after suffering repeated anxiety attacks. So this is just to show you what these amazing ladies have had to suffer, because Aliza's house was really next to the gates, one of the back of the gates of Be'eri, and she really suffered. Like the terrorists were in her house for hours. They couldn't get into the safe room, but they were actually just behind the door. So she was in terror for hours and hours with her husband and son. And she told me that when she is doing SoulPages, her mind can relax for a few minutes, or even 2 hours in a row. She doesn't look at the phone, and it's kind of like an relaxation pills for her, and it really helps her body and nerve system to relax. And she's an amazing artist. This is work by Perach that you heard about, and Perach told us about the miraculous 48 hours in the safe room, and I sent you the video of her, and I think it's an amazing video, how she was saved. Another work of her, and in this work she's talking a lot about the prompt, it's okay. So I can translate for you. She just took small Hebrew sentences, like it's okay to live without fear. It's okay to hug. It's okay to pray. It's okay to find the answer. It's okay to ask lots of questions. It's okay to be happy, because a lot of the survivors feels in a way guilty of being happy. So it was really important also to normalize it for them. It's okay to be happy. These are a few quotes of the participants. Like, this was the most significant activity I experienced in recent weeks. I finally managed to calm down for 2 hours and disconnect from my cell phone. I've been waiting for you all week. Empowering and exciting experience. I want to continue. I'm discovering abilities I didn't know I had. The last 2 slides, just to share with you like the daily life in Israel. This is a Saturday when we go to the hostages, where they are demonstrating in Tel Aviv. And we see all kinds of artistic, I don't know how to call it even, all kind of artistic project that aims to try to explain how difficult it is to live without these people for so long. It's just unbearable. One of my students is a mother-in-law of one of the hostages in Gaza, and she told me about, and her daughter was actually kidnapped and came back. And she's telling me all the time how her soul cannot even process the fact that her daughter was an hostage for 50 days. Like, it's so terrible. The human mind cannot process it. So just a reminder of what we are going through now all the time. Bring them home. We don't give up on bringing them home. And this is the Bring Back the Light donation link that you got. I'll put it also under the notes of the video. And just a reminder of this amazing place in the Dead Sea that I'm actually going there this week again. And I feel fortunate to be with these amazing people that are so brave and to bring SoulPages to them. Should we do like a few questions now? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. If anybody has any questions, you could either put it in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll try to have XXRakefet answer it. I have a question to start with. How do children react when you do the SoulPages? Do they look at it differently than when you do it with adults?
Children are so much more open and free. Like, you don't really need to give instruction to children. Like, I remember one child, did you see, I sent you also a few videos. I don't know if you saw the one of the children of Be'eri. So one of these children, she came to our meetings, and she just, they're finishing a whole notebook in one lesson. We do like one page, and she just did a full a journal about the dog that she lost in this day. So she drew him from this. She just looked at this picture in her phone, and she drew him, and then she turned off the page and she drew him again. And that was really powerful to see. And she came for like maybe 3-4 meetings in a row. And then she stopped, because in a way it was enough for her. She needed this, but then she moved on to some other activities.
Rakefet, do you also work with some of the people who were displaced in the north as well, or they have different concerns?
In the north, they have different concerns?
The people that were displaced from the Lebanese border.
Yes.
Because of the rockets.
Yes, in the north, they were, I think in the north, I met a few of them when I worked with ladies from Ma'agan Michael, which is very close to where I live, actually. And they were very afraid. They were like almost shocked about the fact that they suddenly in one day had to be, moved out of their home. And they didn't really see an end to that. They didn't know when it will finish. So I think that was the main thing for the north, for the people in the north.
Rakefet, I had another question regarding the role of the facilitator. I know the facilitator starts off the project with them, but once they've started and they understand how the SoulPages work, is this something that they can work on themselves without having the facilitator there, or is the facilitator really an integral part of the process?
It's a very good question. Usually you think yes, once you got the idea, you could go on your own and do it. But the thing with SoulPages is the community that is created around it, and the ability to work together in the same place. So for these ladies, for example, I don't know if all of you saw, but I sent you a small video about Perach. She's one of my students. This video, she's telling about her like miraculous survivor. She was in the safe room for, I think, 48 hours. Everybody thought she was dead. And she was very bitter in the beginning when she went out, because she felt like nobody was really looking for her. How come they missed her? It was like her life story that she was like, in a kibbutz, you have these children that her parents dead, and they were kind of adopted in the kibbutz. So she was one of these children. So she was never a real kibbutz child. She was always like from the outside. And imagine, she's like 75 or 77. She has already not grandchildren, she has children of grandchildren. She's really but she still feels like a child in herself. And she was really bitter in the beginning when I came to meet her. And she was even angry about me. And slowly, I could see when the weeks passed by that she started to, with the pages that she made, because she grasped it really quickly, and she was an artist like natural artist. So with the stories, she suddenly started to speak with her friend. And in the end, like when I spoke with her a few weeks ago, she became like one of the most solid person of this group. Like she actually made new friends in the kibbutz. She knew everybody, but she was never able to become close to people. But so I don't know if it really answers your question, but I think that there is a very big value for someone that is sitting together with them and ready to hear them. And also, if this someone is a little bit from the outside and helps them to connect again.
Rakefet, I understand that some of the people are being able to go back to where they were living before. Do you know how many people have been able to do that, or is it still going to be a long time in the hotels for many?
It's really depend in each place. Especially, you have to do like there is in a way it's different in the south and in the north. Okay, because the actual war, the more dangerous war, is now in the north. In the south, we are more in control, so it's actually quite safe now in the south. So some of the kibbutzes also started to go back, not the hardcore, like Be'eri, Kfar Aza. There are a few kibbutzes that are hardcore and they didn't come back. But even in these, some of them are still going to work there. So I think for example, in Be'eri, maybe 100 people still live there. They live there a few days and then they go back to the Dead Sea. So they are like in and out. But when we visited there, you can feel that it's still life in a way, but they are also thinking of, like they have a very big debate, for example, how to, if they need to renovate the houses, or maybe make like a museum from some of the houses, because I can tell you that to go to Be'eri now or any other of these places and to actually see what happened, I think for me it was one of the most powerful things I ever saw. I think the world needs to see more of that. So there is a big questions of remembering for them. They have like a big committee that deals with remembering and documenting.
Rakefet, we want to thank you so much for being with us today. I know it must have been very difficult for you to take time away from your family. And please know that our hearts are with you and with all of Israel now and going forward.
And we thank you for all the wonderful work you've done, and we hope that you can continue it. and that's the important thing. And I want to remind everybody that this is a totally volunteer organization. So, at some point, you'll be able to look into how they're doing it and what they're doing. And if you want to help out, I'm sure that there's opportunity to do that as well.
So going forward, know that we're all with you together. And thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being.
I'll be seeing you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here.